Hello. Hello. Mark, Mike, Russell, Phil, Mitch. How's it going, everybody? Ray Kelly's here. Hello, everybody. Hello. How are you all? Good night. Good evening. Hello. Oh, good night. It's a little premature to say good night. Usually you say good night and it's the end. Good evening is a hello. Isn't it weird? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, mostly gentlemen. How are you? It's been a week, man. It's been a week. Um, I think it's been a week where I have really kind of shook and tested my willpower by resisting what is in the duff bucket. And so I have to just jump into it. I have to just get into it right now. Let's check in with the Magic Duff Bucket. What have you got for me today, Magic Duff Bucket? Oh, those. I've never seen better words written on a Rapture can than Jeff Word Stout. Oh, this is the second batch. Mitch promises me it is a better batch. I call it son of a batch. And so I am just like, this is the best moment, right? Because it's still full. It's still absolutely chock full of delicious brew. And it's all waiting for me. You know, it's just right there. It's all waiting for me. I didn't even open it yet. It's still in mint condition. Oh, but that's going to change. Hello, David, Christopher. Chad's here. So we're gonna get into this. Russell. Thank you, Russell. Thank you. That would have been funny if he pulled a dead animal out of the bucket. Yeah, look, I tried to make my brand. I build my brand around discomfort, awkwardness, cringe, annoying. You know, I really lean into it. In that video, I just went for it. I thought, what? I could make it worse. I can make it worse because you got to leave a little bit, you know. Hello, Stephen Dwayne Ellison Jr. Hello. Hello, Ron. So I'm going to pour this because it's, come on, man. Come on. Oh. Notably, Hans isn't here. And his father, he's been posting about it. So I know it's not like a secret or anything, but his father passed away. And I just want to, I shared my condolences on the social media, and I'd like to share them here with everybody. All you guys know Hans. He's here every week, and hearts are heavy. His dad led a legendary life. The stuff out there that Hans has been sharing, he just shared an obituary from the Atlantic, and wow. Hans is a great guy, and you know, he's here every week, and I'm going to miss him tonight, but I totally understand, and I know all of you all wish him and his family good thoughts. It's kind of rough following the tote and following that sympathy notice, the condolences to Hans with a sip from the Jeff Word Stout. But I think it's proper. Cheers and saluting Hans with the Jeff Word Stout feels right. And Mitch, yes, you've outbatched yourself. That's fantastic. So, so we have a lot to talk about this evening, and a lot of books, a lot of things. Celebrate life lived, don't mourn death. You're right. His dad had a good long life, but it's never long enough. You know, that's how it works out. That's how it works out. It's never long enough. And then immortality would be too long. Happy Monday, Jason. Peter's here. Finished The Passenger a few hours ago. Brilliant. Damn it. Yeah, everybody's been, Stephen Dwayne Ellison Jr. said the same thing. I got to read it, but I'm going to start The Painted Bird tomorrow, Chad. So I'm starting on The Painted Bird tomorrow from Kaczynski. Yeah. I begin this adventure tomorrow because I ended this adventure today. Let me just say to you all, Philip's not here. I'll say to you, this is an amazing book, a great book from Philip Fracassi. I hope it sees the light of day. I hope it gets printed. And I think this would have huge mass appeal, wide appeal for a lot of reasons. But it's neither here nor there right now. It's a great book. And the guy can write, man. The guy can write. Dude can roll. The dude can roll, man. But yes, Kaczynski, Jerzy Kaczynski, The Painted Bird starts up tomorrow, and then 11/22/63 after that for all you haters, and then guests, and then maybe Passenger. I finished both Passenger and Stella. Them books are deep. Nice. Yeah, Mitch is the only one that hated it out of the four of us. He DNF'd it even. How disrespectful. Yeah. Oh, good. Mike is drinking a Jeff Ward stout along with me maybe tonight, or you already had it. It's a very good stout. It is delicious. It's the coffee, the vanilla. And then Mitch also did a variant with limited edition cans because he knows I can't then throw them out. This is caffeine-free Jeff Ward stout, which means it's just vanilla. No, none of the coffee that's in the Jeff Ward stout. So that's fine. Well, I'm really looking forward to that. I have The Painted Bird in my TBR pile as well. I'll start it as well in the next day or two, so maybe I can contribute a few thoughts on it. Oh, that's awesome. I don't know if I'll finish by next Monday. I probably will. It seems to be, well, these pages is packed, this type, but very generous margins, and it's a short book. So I think I'll be all right for next week. I'm really looking forward to it. I have no doubt in my mind I'll love it. No doubt. I got back into Echo, and I'm now really enjoying it. So I'm glad to hear that. But I don't know if I like the idea of somebody. I mean, I'm not saying this is the case with you, Mark, but if you go back and reread a book and then like convince yourself to like it, and again, I'm not saying that's what happened with you, but there are times where I felt like I should have liked the book because all these other people did, or somebody whose opinion I respect really liked it. That's kind of how I'm approaching Revival. That's kind of how I'm approaching Unburied Carol. I did not like Unburied Carol, but I didn't put it as my number one Mallerman, and a lot of people do. So I just don't want to see anybody convince themselves of liking a book. I DNF, meaning just haven't finished yet. Going to be finishing in the next day or two. Well, obviously, Stephen Dwayne Ellison Jr. Mitch didn't really like it all that much because I gobbled that ending up. Is The Blue Butterfly horror or sci-fi? It's a little bit of both, but it's mostly it's not really sci-fi. I mean, it's horror. I would say horror. Yeah. Horror with supernatural elements. Currently reading The Dark Room by Jonathan Moore. He's definitely moving up the favorite author. Nice. I've never read anything by him. Man, I'm gonna feel horrible if everyone hates Painted Bird. That's how I felt about unleashing Butcher Boy on everybody. Absolutely adore that book. Recommended it to everybody, and then Suntup published it. Now I felt responsible, but I don't feel bad. I did feel responsible. And there are going to be a number of people who love it and hate it. C'est la vie, as It's Terrific would say. Um, I started where I left off. It has really picked up. I didn't start from the beginning again. Okay. It does end with the usual Fracassi flourish, blue butterfly. I loved the end, but we need to talk about it. Me, you, Mitch, and Joshua need to talk about it um, before I go any further, and then we need to talk to Philip about it. No blame at risk, Chad. I've been meaning to read The Painted Bird for a couple decades, and it was just a discussion of last month or so. Okay, cool. I'd say Blue Butterfly is like mystery thriller horror. Yeah, I mean it's horror. It is the most thrillerish of the Fracassis that I've read. It is very thrillerish. It feels like it skews toward a younger audience than 50-year-old curmudgeon white guys. Um, but that said, it's not just for a young, you know what I mean? A lot of the fun of it makes the dark parts even more gruesome. But we'll talk about it. I feel like getting ahead of our group. I read Insomnia by Sarah Pinborough the last 2 days. Wow, what a great book. Oh, it's great. You got to read They Say a Girl Died Here Once. I'll say this. I won't say anything. But also you have to read Behind Her Eyes. Behind Her Eyes was wild. It's a slower book than Insomnia, in the sense that Insomnia feels like just you're on a goddamn roller coaster. You're going over and over, and there are twists and turns like a lot, you know. Whereas Behind Her Eyes is like a couple of very major ones, but not as rapid fire. Sounds like Lividian has some exciting things coming this year based on the Patreon update. Yes. Hi Jeff. That meant that Jeff Word Stout was awesome. Finished it a few minutes ago. Nice. I'm currently reading Blood Standard by Laird Barron. Man, it's great, as well as Helter Skelter. Damn. Read that when it came out. Great read. Wow. Yeah, so I have Lividian on my chart. Now, Lividian came out with their newsletter, and I was like, what? The stuff he had on there, I think he's doing a Crouch book. I think he's either going to do recursion or upgrade. Because he said, I'm doing an author of a famous trilogy, and one I've never published before, I believe is what he said. Can I even talk about it? Wait, I don't even know if I could talk about it. Hold on. Let me pull it up. It was a Patreon update, right? Darn it. Dag nabbit. And I think he let's see. So please note that some of this is not public yet. Oh. So please don't share. Okay. Some of it's not. I mean, he's being coy. He's talking about some of the stuff that that he has coming up. So he's not naming names. Yeah, he wrote, I'll just say this one part since I already kind of spilled it. We also have just signed a deal with the author of a well-known trilogy. Those books have already been published as a limited edition, but the one we have under contract has not. So I thought that was Blake Crouch, and I would thought recursion or upgrade. I hope it's recursion. I haven't heard really great things about upgrade. So I don't think I don't think that he I don't know. And then Dark Matter, of course, was Suntup edition. Where should I start with Sarah Pinborough? They Say a Girl Died Here Once would be a great place to start. It's short. It gets you a sense of her style. It's a great story. Then read Insomnia. Then read Behind Her Eyes. She also has a great short story novella in Hark the Herald Angels Scream, and that's really all I've read by her. And so I need to read more. I love everything I've read by her, but that's where I would start. I think you could talk about it. You're not technically supposed to. Yeah, Insomnia was nonstop. They Say a Girl Die Here Once. Yep. Yeah, that definitely sounds like Blake Crouch. Yeah. So, Mike, you've read both of them. Yeah, I forgot about that. It's interesting, isn't it? Those two stories. And you were free to see my interview. I interviewed her about Insomnia. So I don't know if you've seen that. Go watch that. We talk about it. And we talk about the ending of Insomnia, which is a is a fun thing. It's she tosses a bone to the fans of Behind Her Eyes, and I loved it. Yeah, and then Lividian also talked about. I think he's doing another Catriona Award book because he said Lividian published this author's debut novel, and he put it in quotes. I don't know why, and now they're doing another one, and so I'm thinking that's Catriona Award. Because Lividian doesn't have a huge library yet. There's a lot. They haven't done a ton of books, so it's hard to hide when you say we've published this author before, and it's this author's first book. Well, he also says they're doing a New York Times bestselling author that he didn't work with. He published this author in an anthology, but never a book. So I thought it was Mallerman because he published Midnight Under the Big Top, and Mallerman has a story in there called Dandy. But then I remembered, yes, Cemetery Dance did on this The Day of the Pig. So he's done a Mallerman book before. Lividian hasn't, but CD did, and he mentioned CD in that thing. So I don't think. It could be Sundial, the Sundial limited edition. I think she just had another one. I don't recall off the top of my head. I have Sundial on my TBR. It's not way up there because my TBR is intimidating me. It's like sometimes I'm walking down a dark alley and I hear something behind me and I turn around, it's my TBR. And they're like, they got a switchblade out. I'm like, oh, it's intimidating. So I run into a Dunkin' Donuts where all the cops are. So Lividian teased a bunch of stuff. If you don't support Brian James Freeman on Patreon, I suggest you do. I don't know why you wouldn't. I missed it. Just hit me with the clues and I'll toss out a guess. I'm not supposed to share it, but it's just us here. I mean, it's just me and you 25. The store will be the deluxe lettered edition, and it'll be available. It'll be completed in March or April for the store if you bought the lettered. Oh yeah, our next project was sent to the printer in December, and it's by one of my favorite authors. That's all he says about that. Another new project will be sent to the printer next week. It's by an author I've never worked with once, either here or at Cemetery Dance. And it's going to be sent to the printer next week. So I don't know what kind of timeline we're working with, and I don't know when he'll announce that. A third project should be sent to the printer in February, and it's by an author whose first novel Lividian published as a signed limited edition. Well, that's what I'm thinking is Catriona Award. We have our first limited edition with a hugely popular New York Times bestselling author, fairly deep in production. I've published him in one of my anthologies, but I've never published one of his books before. That's who I thought was Mallerman, but then I remembered on this The Day of the Pig. We also just signed a deal with an author of a well-known trilogy. Those books have already been published as a limited edition, but the one we have under contract has not. So that's Blake Crouch. Has to be. We will be publishing 3 more trade paperbacks, 2 of them long out-of-print titles that should never have been out of print to begin with. You're damn right. Then he talked about the next Joe Hill books, and then plus more Bentley Little special editions in the works. Bentley Little. Number one's here. Hello, number one. He did name a couple names. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could check my email after work. Okay. One of your favorite authors, Jeff? Last name rhymes with spittle. Well, he already said he named Bentley Little. He is going to do Bentley Little. Not mine. Not mine. Although I'm going to read the store whenever Cemetery Dance decides to ship me mine. I will read it. And I will let you all know if my opinion of Little stands or if I need to adjust. Good evening, Megan. Megan's here. Hello. Good evening. Yeah, so I don't know if this light's just too hot. Is this light too hot? This light's too hot. Where's the switch? That's me modestly better. Whatever. It don't matter. You're not here for the quality of the video. You're not. So yeah, and pair that Lividian with email with the Earthling email where he talks about no less than 9 titles this year. That is a huge amount for Earthling, who usually only does about 2. It had been the last few years. One year he even skipped the Halloween series, but the last few years he'd do a Halloween series book and then maybe another book. So for him to do 9 new titles is tremendous output. 1 or 2 more modern classics, which are the pricier end of the spectrum for barring lettered editions, but they're pricier than Earthling's normal output. That's quite a year. Lividian, Earthling, those are 2 out of my top 5. Suntup, SST, Centipede, Lividian, Earthling, the 5. If I had a Mount Rushmore publishers, that's who would be up there. Thanks for all the Sarah Pinborough advice. Just what they say. Oh, great. Yeah. And it's cheap. It's like $35. And it's available. And it's Earthling quality. It's great art, dust jacket cover. I mean, it's not stock art like some other publishers. Anyone familiar with the Halloween book Midas, or is this the first time published? It's the first time published by Tyler Jones. Who's doing Midas? I should ask my man for a arc of that book. He doesn't mention it on the site, but I do know he wrote about it in the email. But I've never so stoked for Centipede's forthcoming releases. Oh, it's on the forthcoming list? Oh, books. Forthcoming. Oh, yeah. Yeah, by Tyler Jones. Yeah, there's no description. You can't click on it. But Tyler Jones. Yeah, I've never read that author. I'm not familiar with him. But Earthling has given me Phil Fracassi, Josh Mallerman, and Sarah Pinborough. So I can't say I can't dismiss it. You gotta when a name floats from Paul Miller, I take a note. I just jot it down. Just take a note. It's the same author as Black Tide. He had a book with the worms. So what? Tyler Jones is a great guy, and I just remembered I had a dream about him last night. What's up with that? Well, we're getting close to the end of the world, Chad. And I think what you're going to experience are echoes. The ripple in the future of the end of the world has echoes and it reverberates back. And we're living in those ripples. So time's going to get a little slippery here on out. Just go with it. There's nothing you can do. The world's ending. There's nothing you could do about it. I mean, I'm not one of those preppers because why bother? It's the inevitable. I'm not a prepper, but man, once I'm out of my Jeff Ward Stout, I get crabby. Speaking of which, Mitch, I need a whole other case because the end of the world's coming. I'm looking forward to the Club Dumas. I call it the Club Dumbass. More Straub, Dune Messiah, New Sun, bunch of other stuff from Centipede. I went over that last week. What was I jazzed about? The Bernie Wrightson Frankenstein, Bad Brains by Kathy Koja. Yeah, Ghost Story Shadowland. Get the hell out of here. It's going to be a hard year. The year of 23. My Suntup number is going to be a rough year. Lots of great titles from a lot of great publishers. I don't know what SST's got on the horizon, but that fills my dance card. I have a lot to buy that I can't buy. You know, I just can't. The Machine in Ward 11. We Have Always Lived in the Castle is going to be kind of pricey. Oh, Darren's here. Hello, Darren. Good to see you here, Darren. Glad you could stop by. I usually skip Masters of the Weird Tale volumes, but that Grant one has my name written all over it. Oh, did somebody write on your book? Get your money back. I was a little surprised to see Jared's blurb regarding the new edition of New Sun yesterday. My understanding is that Shadow of the Torture is still more than a year, maybe 2 away. Huh. Yeah, I don't think Jared's the kind of person who would tease that far out. My Hannibal arrived today. It's a beauty. I've seen those Hannibal AEs, and man, am I regretful that I did not get a Hannibal AE. I got my Red Dragon and Silence of the Lamb AEs because those are the two I read. Those I consider like the best, but I haven't read Hannibal, so I should have gotten Hannibal as well. But I'm getting the numbered, so it all works out in the wash. I'll read Hannibal and then Hannibal Rising. I got that numbered. It's a lot thicker than I thought it would be. In the pictures I saw, I agree. Wow, that's a chonker. That's a chonker of a book. And I gotta read it. And hopefully I can get Clarice Starling, I can get Jodie Foster out of my head when I read it, because now we're going on from Silence to Hannibal. All new stuff for me and a whole new way. There are no Jodie Foster lines. And I didn't see Hannibal. I didn't see Julianne Moore portray Clarice Starling. So I'm going in fresh-brained. Like I took a power washer to the wrinkles and washed it all out. So I'll get to enjoy it, because that's the worst part of reading Silence of the Lambs is her and Jodie Foster. She was a horrible Clarice. Sorry. I'm sorry. Suntup AEs are still best value for money from them. I maintain a joy to read too. No two ways about it, Peter. And I saw somebody do a clever thing. I don't know if he ever comes to this. I don't know who it is. I can't recall who it was, but somebody posted on the Suntup fans group that he was looking to sell his numbered editions, but trade them. So he had a cash price he's looking for his numbered editions, but he was knocking that cash price down a little bit if they would trade him the artist edition of that title. So, for example, Hannibal, he was selling maybe, let's say, $700, whatever it was. But he would sell it for $600 and a trade of Hannibal AE. And I think that's because the AEs are so great, and the AEs are all. There are AEs to almost every title, so they're not hit or miss. For a while there, he wasn't doing any. He was doing an occasional AE. So knowing that there's a steady stream of AEs and you can have quite an impressive library just on those, it's kind of an interesting move to downgrade but stay in the game. The AEs are great. My handle is supposed to be here tomorrow. Nice. Foster being Clarice. I'm with you, Jeff. I think a lot of people are afraid to say it. She just didn't do it. You know, you read the book, and Clarice is a little more complicated. She has this attraction to Crawford, Agent Crawford, that isn't in the movie. And I understand that perhaps that was a choice to make the character less complex and not because you can get away with more stuff in the book. You can get with more development in the book and the stage characters, the movie characters, the translation to the screen has to be a little more straightforward. But I thought, okay, Jodie Foster played a tough as nails recruit who isn't going to take any of that BS from male superiors, and that made her great. But I watched it again, and the ending where she's taking out Buffalo Bill or confronting Buffalo Bill, she's like, she's not this confident, take no prisoners, battle ready agent. So I was kind of confused, and my interpretation of the movie didn't hold up because I loved it at first. Then I read the book, and then I hated her in that movie. Hello, Andrew. Good to see you. Can't wait for Dragon Bone Chair. Also looking forward to Dragon Bone Chair from Grim Oak. They're doing some nice work. Yeah, they are. Hey, Jason. Good to see you. I actually like Jodie Foster's Clarice. I did before, and then I read the book, and I realized Jodie Foster was ham-fisted in her portrayal. She's a great actress, and I think she did a great job for people who didn't, she did a great job for the movie. With the book, when you compare it to the book, she didn't rise to that level. The character in the book, I thought, was more nuanced, more complicated, and more dynamic. Chad, agree to the extent if you saw the movie before you read the book, you will most likely see Foster as Clarice. And then, geez, man, you just hear that voice all the time. I don't even know what she was going for. If she was trying, it just didn't work upon a viewing after a reading. I have Dragon Bone coming as well. I've actually never read Tad Williams, but I'm looking forward to it. I just gave away the prequel to Dragon Bone Chair to my brother-in-law, who's a D&D fan. He's high fantasy guy. And so I'm like, hey, I bought this to try fantasy out. I reviewed it for the channel. I respect it. I understand it's a whole thing. It's not my thing. So here, take it, give it a read. Let me know what you think. And he just texted me the other day. Today was such a gooey day. Again, as we approach the end of the world, time gets gooey. And he texted me and he said that he's liking the book, but man, Tad Williams is going out of his way to create goofy ass names. But I thought that was a trope or a standard in high fantasy to create outlandish, otherworldly names and make them very difficult for audiobook readers. So, not my bag, but I hope it's yours. Some books are just too expensive to read, but the AEs hit that sweet spot. Yep. The same beautiful Suntup reading experience without the fear of fingerprints. Tad is a very good writer if you like fantasy. Yeah, I doubt you'll be disappointed. So I'll see what my brother-in-law says. He'll give me the take on, he'll give me his take on the fan, because he's read the Game of Thrones business. I've never read the Games of Thrones. I never really read too much fantasy, man. So, my next fantasy jam is going to be Lord Fowl's Bane. But first, I got to get Chad Lutsky off my back, and then 11/20/263, all you other people off my back. before I can even think about taking on Lord Faustbane. If anyone is looking for Hannibal AE Subpress, just added some, but it's marked up. Yeah, they do that. Silence of the Lambs is my comfort movie. Really? It just didn't age that well for me. I just can't get over Jodie Foster at the end of that, shaking like a leaf. And I remember thinking a good, strong female lead in a movie that's important, like where that matters in the story. Jeff, not to nitpick, but your complaints with Foster seem to be points that could be problems with the screenwriting rather than the actor. No, that's true. It could be the screenwriting, could be the direction. Yes, I'm not. So to be fair, yeah, might be not her acting skills, but it could be. It could even be editing. I don't know. But her portrayal in the final product just does not live up to the characterization in the novel. So I agree. I thought the Hannibal TV series was better than the movies. Andrew, good to see you, Andrew Zander. Really? Yeah, Megan, really, I think I just don't think that I don't know. For the time, it was refreshing to see her in that role, and sort of the subtext of the movie is, if you think about it, I guess it's not an epiphany probably to anybody but me, but the movie's about a man preying on women, and a woman kind of dealing with the men above her in this hierarchy of a place that's not friendly to women. So a lot of glass ceiling shattering in some ways, and a lot of justice, and then when you read the book, it's a different experience, and you kind of feel differently about it all. But upon a review of that movie, I didn't feel that those notes came through as strongly, and I actually thought Jodie Foster near the end of that movie was clunky, and not this person who found her steel core when she needed it. The part with the night vision goggles and all that stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it again, have a different take. Who knows? Um, yeah, the AEs are really great. They have most of the interior features of the numbered. They do, and the paper quality is probably better in a numbered, and of course the binding is always better, and there are other things that are better in the numbered, but the page design is usually the same. So as soon as you read The Painted Bird, I'll jump on your back again with Spinal Remains or 3 Mile Smile. I have Spinal Remains, like I also have The Pale White. So I have to read those, man. And I will. But I don't have 3 Mile Smile yet. So I've seen a few of Hannibal at issue price or below, but don't. But then marked up, I think you can find them at issue. Yeah, don't buy them marked up. Anything with Mads Mikkelsen is great. Hannibal series was great. Yes, yes, yes. Sigs aside, I prefer the AEs over the numbers almost every time. Not always a fan of Suntup's binding designs, but a nice looking dust jacket is always a winner. Yeah, and sometimes that does come back to bite Suntup. They create an AE that is irresistible. And in some ways, yeah, in some views, eclipses the. Now, I've never felt that way about an AE, but I will say that Animal Farm AE might eclipse the Animal Farm numbered. Maybe that might be the only one, but there have been numbereds that I've liked much more than the lettereds. Just of course upon viewing the pictures of the prototypes and the videos out in the wild, there have been numbereds that I thought were better than the lettereds. But no, not yet have I thought of that with an AE. But I will say, if budget is an issue and you obviously can't afford the numbered, the AE is no consolation prize, man. That is a great worthy addition. And when I see these libraries filled with nothing but AEs, I get jealous because I don't have them all. Jeff, you read your numbered editions, right? Yeah, I do. How many Oscars you got? Oh, okay. Well, how many movies have I played in? None. Yeah, so she's obviously won more Oscars than I have. But I can have my opinion, man. I don't think she's that great in Silence of the Lambs. I do read my numbereds. If I don't like, I'm gonna read my Hannibal numbered. If I don't have an AE, I'll read the numbered. But if I have the AE, I'll read that one instead. I used to also read the arcs, and so I might read the arc as well. But I have no problem reading the numbereds. Yeah. Well, the Animal Farm AE is something special. Yeah, it is. But it's not just the letterpress; it's also the binding, and the whole package is incredible. And there are some artists, yeah, Omar Ryan's art on the cover of on that dust jacket, it elevates it. Like I said, that may be the only one that I think was better than the numbered. But I haven't gotten the numbered yet, so I got on the train with Schindler's, but don't want be afraid to read them. No, you shouldn't be afraid to read them. Just read them like I I'm clumsy, and it does affect your reading time. So if you just ate some food, say fried chicken, for example, a common staple in the Terry household, and you want to read then, and you just can't trust your fingers. You're like, oh, hell no. Maybe get gloves, but then you know what gloves do? You can't feel if you're creasing pages as clearly, So I don't know. It's like there are some things that I did read my Haunting of Hill House when I commuted to work. I brought it with me every day on a train. I created a little paper bag dust jacket to protect it while I read it, but I read that on the train. And that was risky, super risky. You got people sitting next to you. What if they spill something? You don't know. So you have to be extra, extra careful. But the reading experience is tremendous. And you have great paper quality, sometimes letterpress, the textures, the weight, the smell, everything makes the reading experience that much grander. So don't feel, just do it with caution. Just don't take my number to the beach. No, don't take any books to the beach anymore. Jeff, you were great in throwing the Christmas tree. Yeah. It's a tradition. Part of that is just that the trees are so dried out by the time we take down our Christmas decorations that they're light. And I am so ready to be done with those decorations that I just, there's a little extra oomph, I got a little bit of momentum heading into the year just to get that tree gone. I was just going to make that point about Animal Farm. It's a real beauty. Yeah. Yep. I'm going to read my Hannibal AE. Have never read it. Yeah. So I don't have the AE, so I'm going to read the numbered. Thinking about starting the Blade itself. Anyone here read it? No, and I'm waiting for the Curious King edition. He's shipping me a standard. There are people that make things called book sleeves so you don't damage your book as you carry it around to read it. I know, and I was looking into that. So that's a good thing, and I think it should be. You should enjoy your limited editions. You should read them. It's fine. Abercrombie's characters are interesting and dialogue and prose are fun. The plotting is a bit sloppy though. Uh-oh. I love the paper bag dust jacket. Did that with all my kings. Nice. And welcome to the show tonight, John. I've had some moments of regret for passing on Animal Farm, but I have a folio edition and I may never end up reading that book again. I've read it a few times and time is fleeting. Yeah, it's hard. I think that's a book people should read once a year. It's short, it's brilliant. The lessons need to stay fresh in everyone's brain, especially the times we're living through. If you read The Blade itself, you will know whether you like the rest of the series. His style is pretty consistent. Should I do Book of the New Sun instead? Uh-oh. Yes, Chris. Again, if you like fantasy, then Joan never disappoints. Oh, Jeff Ward Stout in the house. Look at this. This is to show you how much I don't want to let it go. I have just that much consumed out of the glass, right? And here I am filling it up because I need to know I have a full glass. Son of a bitch. So New Sun is very different from the Blade itself, very rewarding. The Book of the New Sun. So Abercrombie is quite enjoyable. He's no Erickson, but a good read. Abercrombie and Wolf are not remotely comparable. Not even remotely, I think, by saying they have nothing in common. Last call on those Gothic cases, people. The Gothic cases from 19th edition. Get over to 19th edition. Order the Gothic cases if you have the 19th edition. I said that. I'm thinking I said Earthling. If you have the Earthling edition of Gothic, you need the 19th edition slipcase. You need it. And if you don't have it, don't know why. Today, you're in the last hours of ordering. I think you have 2 hours and 45 minutes to order before all sales are cut off and the limitations set. So I wouldn't dally. I wouldn't dilly, and I wouldn't dilly-dally. I had some internet issues tonight. It's killing my buzz. Damn, sorry. Some people love Gene Wolfe, but I was a bit disappointed by Book of the New Sun. Wolfe's New Sun is an all-time great and the kind of lifestyle read that you may keep going back to throughout your whole life. Well, those two comments are complete contradiction. I need to read Erickson too. I'm never going to catch up. These are not assignments. Anyone want to watch the new Jason movie? New Jason movie on the YouTubes? What? What? The new Jason movie on the YouTubes? A new Friday 13th movie? What? I don't know. Am I blown out on your cameras? Because I'm looking really white. I tried to do something with the lights, man. Hey, producer Jill, could you hit this switch real quick? I don't want to be Casper. I want to know about this Friday 13th movie, if that's what it is. Or is it a Jason Bourne movie? Just hit that switch. No. Now I look like, yeah. Is there dimmer? I don't think there's any saving it. I'm just white. I don't know if this is better. I don't know. Me and Darren can't be buds. Yes, sir. I had to close my eyes like 3 times. It's a whole new movie on YouTube. Huh. We're going to have to look this up. Funny thing is, Stephen King said if there was a book he was going to write, but he never did, it was going to be a book called I, Jason, about how Jason is condemned to keep getting killed again and again and again. And what a hell that is. It's a funny way to look at the Friday 13th series as his eternal damnation. I think you're just going to have to turn the light on. I don't know. How do I look? Because in my desktop, I look like I don't have a nose. But whatever. Might be fan made. I know that's how the Hatchet series started, right? Somebody wanted to do a Friday 13th movie and they didn't get it done, so they created a whole new series, Hatch, and they got Kane Hodder. I believe that's true. A very good, perfect fan made movie. Jason is a straight killer. Oh man, I got to see it. Is it free on YouTube, or is it like YouTube Red or something where you gotta pay for it? Because if it's on YouTube, I know a couple people on YouTube. Pull some strings and I'll get over there. Anything's better than Halloween Kills, except Halloween Ends. That's the only movie worse than Halloween Kills. Speaking of Stephen King, he's coming out with oh wait, hold on. Darren has something to say. Like I said, I know people who adore Wolf, and I'm sure I'll annoy people by saying it a bit. I couldn't get into New Sun, and I tried more than once. I'm annoying people by saying it, but I couldn't get. Yeah, there's no accounting for personal preference, man. It's totally cool. I don't get people that like CJ Tudor. So, and she sells books. I don't get people that like Clarice Starling in the movie. But obviously I can be in the minority on that. And that's cool. People don't get it. I don't get it. But that, we see eye to eye on all those other things. I've never read Gene Wolfe either, so I wish I could have an opinion. I wish I could weigh in on this raging debate and let you know who has the right opinion. But I can't blow the whistle on this. I'm going to have to say you're all right. Mommy's all right. Daddy's all right. They just seem a little weird. I can understand that. Wolf's writing will not always appeal to everyone. Yeah. Lost your live. Number one, lost my live. Anyone else lose my live? I don't know what to tell you, number one. I hope you have. Oh, you know what? It's probably an excuse because number one's probably shutting it off for the night. Like, okay, I've given this guy all the time I can. You're not alone, Steven. I haven't read Wolf either. Blasphemy. I will have to send you some. I can understand that. Not looking forward to Holly. Didn't really like the trilogy. I liked the first one. I didn't really like the second one. I kind of liked the third one. Although it was kind of off the rails. Like I'm like Stephen King, you're asking a lot out of the reader on End of Watch. You're asking a lot. But Holly was the worst, and I couldn't stand reading her. So a whole book dedicated to Holly Gibney, no thank you. Now, that said, if you would like to gift me a signed first edition, or if there is a limited edition you would like to gift me, you feel free. But I'll probably read If It Bleeds. I'll read her story in that. I'll eventually read The Outsider. So yeah, I mean, I'm not that much of a jerk where I object and I will never read anything with Holly Gibney in it. You stuttered but came back. I never turned down free. Nope. Oh, my internet sucks tonight. I keep losing you and getting behind. May have to just catch a rewatch tomorrow and try and finish Blue Butterfly. Mitch, yes, you're excused. Please read and finish the book. We need opinions on that ending. I have strong ones, but I can be dissuaded. So, spoilers. I like Mr. Mercedes. Spoilers? What spoilers? Oh, she has been a better character since. Yeah. Okay, if you say so. Oh man, she annoyed me, and Bill Hodges' character in the first book. Bill Hodges' girlfriend in the first book, the one with the Mercedes, was the worst. I hated her. Oh, she was the worst. Her and Holly. Like, what the hell were you doing, King? Go back on the drugs or something. These characters are awful. And then Jerome, I'm sorry, man. You walked the line and you crossed the line writing that character, Stephen King. You crossed the line. Dude. Now that I think back on it, that whole first book is a dumpster fire. I just said I liked it better than the other ones because they had a lot more of the detective feel, police procedural. I like that aspect of it. But damn, now that I'm thinking about it, Jerome, Bill Hodges' girlfriend, Holly Gibney, problematic characters for very different reasons. All written by a guy who wasn't any of those characters' demographic. Oh man, just stepping in it. Sorry for anybody who loved that stuff, but I haven't read the newer stuff. But The Outsider show on HBO was really good. I enjoy every book she is in. Well, good. I didn't say it, but she got what she had coming. I'm going to try the repeat tomorrow. Still no visual or voice. Okay, number one. You're excused. You and Mitch are excused. Jill, write it down. They left at 9:20 or 8:26 Central, 9:26 Eastern. Dock their pay. Mr. Mercedes was fair, but the other two were miserable. Struggled through them. Have not read The Outsiders. The Outsider. I didn't struggle through any of them. I read them, and they were quick page turners. I thought they were Stephen King light. Those characters did annoy me real bad, but the storyline, Brady is a good villain, a great villain, actually. I really liked Brady. Very diabolical, very sick person. And I think as a villain, Stephen King created a great one with him. And as a hero, a great hero with Bill Hodges. But then it became cutesy and I don't know, just felt very childish and high schooly. And it was sad to see a bunch of grown ass adults act that way. At least make them the appropriate age to act like kids. Like, it's just something about it. Just, I just got here. I'll take Mitch's place. Well, that's good. Okay, Mitch, you've got a replacement. I thought the Mercedes books were okay. I enjoyed them. I didn't like the suggestion of supernatural shenanigans in the third, though. I kind of liked it. It's for me, it redeemed it. It gave it some spark, some originality, a little bit more flair than the second one. Is implausible, a huge stretch for that, but I liked it. The TV series was decent, although I stopped at the second season. Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Peace out, y'all. Off to read Fracassi. We got to set up a Zoom call. Talk about it because there's something that needs to be talked about. I mean, I can't exactly do a review on it. I can't, it's not like it's a book that's coming out next month that everybody can read and I can just save my thoughts until then. I don't know. We got to talk about it. So yeah, Holly's coming out. Yeah, I'll get it set up. Cool. And I don't know if you want to talk before we talk to Philip. If you just talk amongst us and then Philip, or if you just want to throw Philip in there and he gets the raw thoughts. However you want to do it, I'm game. So have good night. Good night, Mitch. So I just finished reading. It was awesome. Oh, and Philip Fracassi put out a list of tour places, but no dates. And the closest to me is Decatur, Georgia. So That would be where I would go to see him. Philip Fracassi. He's not my state. Wish he was. So I begged him, but he's like, the state smells like you now, Jeff. So, that doesn't wash out. I'm off to bed now, guys. 2 a.m. here in London. Have a great night. Have a great night yourself. We could text about it and figure out what we want to do. Okay. Have a great night, Darren. Peace out. Mitch. Daniel just got here, so I got to go for another hour now. So what else? So I talked about Earthling a little bit. 9 titles, 2 modern classics. Real jazzed about it. Excited for that. Talked about Lividian and your last call on Gothic cases. Suntup released this week. Got to head out a bit early. Thanks for hosting, Jeff. See you all next week with hopefully the Painted Bird, mostly red. Yeah, I'll at least have thoughts on it, opinions on what I think about what I've read, and hopefully it'll be most of it or all of it. I'm trying not to have thoughts. I'm trying not to. I'm going to just jump in. Not gonna read. Even though I think people have pointed out what it's about to me before, I'm not going to do it because my brain draws a blank and I don't want to know. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to read it. I know I'm going to love it. I know it. So that's high standards, which means I'm going to hate it. I'm approaching it with high standards. So Suntup release week. I had an insanely awesome interview. Did Earthling's Gothic ship? I do not think I've received my copy. Earthling's Gothic? Yeah, that shipped a long time ago, Martin. You got to reach out. Cemetery Dance's Gothic did not ship yet. That's February, I believe. So Cemetery Dance did not ship their Gothic yet. But Earthling Gothic has shipped. If that's what you're talking about, you're long overdue, and you need to reach out to Paul Miller. Oh, Martin, I hope you can get a handle on that and figure out what happened. But the CD edition, I'm waiting. I think that's February 3rd is the release date, and I'll get that. Hopefully, I ordered a paperback. Me either, Jeff, but West Virginia doesn't have much. Maybe Taylor's Books, who hosted Stephen King. Yeah. Thank you. I will contact them. I did not order. Oh, man. You know what? Damn. When, shoot, I'm going to do this for you, Martin. I'm going to just give you a ballpark of when. Anybody tell him when, let's see, Gothic. November 30th, I unboxed it on this channel. Gothic by Philip Fracassi, the Earthling edition. So November 30th. So yeah, you're over a month, man. So reach out. Yeah, I hope that gets sorted. I hope it's either not shipped yet or something. So just see. Thoughts and prayers, Thoughts and prayers. I feel that. God, because that puts me on edge, the worst thing is losing a package in the mail. And Paul Miller doesn't send out shipping notices, I don't believe. He and Jared are like that. And that can cause consternation, So, yes, I interviewed the artist for this week's Suntup release. We had an excellent, awesome, wonderful conversation. And we talked about many things. I'll be posting that video on Thursday here on the channel. And whether you're a fan of this artist or of the book or anything, if you're just I would recommend, if you're just interested in hearing an artist talk about the process, about what he thinks of bringing another creative individual's work to life. No matter what, I think we had a really great conversation, and I'm editing it right now, so I'd encourage you to read it. But one thing that came up was we talked about people that want an artist to explain what their work means or what they meant when they did it. Same thing with an author. What did you mean? What did this book mean? You know, could you imagine going up to Paul Tremblay and saying, "Well, what happened at the end of Cabin at the End of the World? What did that ending mean?" If I was Paul Tremblay, I would look at you and say, "Whatever you thought it meant, whatever you thought Head Full of Ghosts meant. What did you think?" Because that's what I wanted to do. I handed you a spark and told you to go start a fire. And I hope you did that. But coming back to me to ask how the fire works means you don't have a fireplace. And I don't know what to do with that. And for me, there are a lot of literal people in the world, people who just need things clear and cut and dry. They don't get humor. They don't understand editorial art. They understand illustrations. They understand photographs, unless it's a very editorial photograph. But they understand. They want things to be very. They don't want to use that right brain thinking. They don't want to. They don't want to unpack it. They expect to read a book and have it all explained to them. What was this character thinking at that moment? No interpretation. A book like Butcher Boy would short circuit some of those people. Well, what's going on? Like, or The Road, or even there's not a whole lot to interpret with The Road. Only thing Cormac McCarthy doesn't do is punctuation, quotation marks. So, but there's some books that kind of slip and fudge and leave things for the reader to put in there. There's a puzzle and it's not complete and the pieces are missing and you got to bring those missing pieces. So I don't like that. I don't like it. Never explain, never apologize. David Lynch on artistic expression. Yeah. Will you expand on that? No. Never explain and never apologize. Exactly. You've created and that's one thing I talked to this artist about. You've created something, and during the creation process, it is your conversation with whatever you're working with, whether it's the typewriter, the word processor, or the canvas, or the camera lens, whatever it is you're working with. It's a conversation between you and the equipment. And once it's a conversation with you and your brain. And then once it's on in a form that other people can now digest and read or take on, absorb, now it's theirs. It doesn't even belong to you anymore. It belongs to them in a different way. It is what the reader brings to it. So if you get it, you get it. If you get it on the best level, you do. If not, if you just got the surface level, whatever, it is now, it's your relationship to have. Don't tell me what you need to think about it. Or, I think it could be fun if you're personal friends with an author and you're having a beer and it's hey, what were you thinking about that? Like, did you want people to see it that way? Or, you could, that's fair. But a fan to an author experience, no author or no artist should ruin it. Because that's ruining it. You're stealing their interpretation. I agree so much about Tremblay's work. I have argued with this with people. If a book isn't tied up in a neat bow, they get mad. I don't get that. I don't get that. I love that. When I got to the end of Head Full of Ghosts, I loved it. Loved it. There was that little bit, like all along in the book, Paul Tremblay is giving evidence for two possible scenarios. And I'm not going to say what they are. I'm not going to ruin anything for anybody. But all along the book, and there may be 3 or 4 possible scenarios, but for what I got out of the book, he's giving evidence every step of the way that there could be 2 reasons these things are happening in the book. He doesn't tell you which one definitively. He might, for some people, might be convinced it was one way or the other. And I'm kind of convinced one way, but that's the best thing. Author will bury the evidence in the book, or not bury it, but put the evidence in the book and present it. And this is the stuff that happened that I reported on from my brain. What do you think? We report, you decide. It's that simple. We tell you what it is, what happened, and you decide if it's good or bad, up or down. Love the end of Cabin. I did too. It's funny how ambiguous endings can be so divisive among readers. I love it, but I've discussed with many folks that hate it. And that's all fair. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying literal people are inferior people. I just don't get it. I find much more joy in the gray than I do in clearly defined. Like when it comes to money, I want things clearly defined. When it comes to law, yes, make things clearly defined. When it comes to art, make it fuzzy, make it gray, make it ambiguous, make it something that I need to pull apart and put back together and enjoy and roll around in. You know, I love that. So yeah, literal people are some of the best engineers and problem solvers we have, probably. They're very logical. They want things in a they focus on having things make absolute sense. And what is the evidence? Like scientists and all that, Not that they're not creative, but anyway. So and that's fine. That's fine. Most authors don't want you to know what was being thought. I hope so. Yeah. I don't hate ambiguous endings, but they can be unsatisfying if the narrative seemed to be leading to something. And I love endings that have a great unexpected resolution. I can see both sides. Oh, yes, there can be disappointing endings that are not tied up. You can have a bad ending. It's not like I'm saying just stop in mid sentence and let the reader take it off from there. Yeah, but when they're cleverly done, and they don't feel half baked, and I could see that. I think there are some, like we watched No Country for Old Men, and as a movie, that movie just ends right, and we bought it. I think I talked about this before. We bought it, so I need to watch it 3 times to make my money back. And we watched it once, so I got to watch it 2 more times. I adored it. I immediately wanted to read the book. I wanted to read The Passenger. I wanted to read Cormac McCarthy so bad after watching that movie. And I think that's a great movie that makes you want to read. And we got to the end, and my son's like, "What?" And he's done with it. He's not, and that's fine. I get it. But things can feel like that if they feel like they're just dropped at the end or unfinished or unthought. But that's not what Paul Tremblay did, and that's not, that's not what some of these other books have done. I don't have very obvious, easy examples. Makes you think about it longer, yeah, and then it makes you want to reread and understand it, maybe highlight the evidence of your case, and then maybe come to a stronger conclusion or not, or say, oh, I forgot that part where this happened, and that undermines this possible conclusion. I am a very literal person in the real world. Fiction does not need to fall into a neat and tidy box. Yeah. Yes, it's like the end of The Sopranos. People were upset, but how else could it have ended? And I don't remember it. I mean, I never saw the series. I don't remember it. I never saw any of Sopranos. I wanted to, but I didn't have HBO. And I know how it ends, though, which is kind of shitty. I shouldn't know how it ends, but I guess it's fine knowing that. Because it doesn't ruin anything, right? I'm sorry. When I pour a Jeff Ward stout, there has to be moments of silence while I drink. Has to be. But yes, I'll post that interview this week. I hope you enjoy it. I love ambiguous ending stuff that has me making up my own mind about what happened next. But enough of a hint to get a pretty good idea. Yeah, choose your own ending style could be a thing. That's funny because a recent book I read, I thought of the way it ended could have been one possible ending, and maybe the author would consider choose your own ending, choose your own, or just publish multiple endings. I think Blake Crouch could have done that with Dark Matter, multiple possible endings based on. You know what would have been really clever, but also infuriating to a lot of people? Would have been Blake Crouch publishing 4 different versions of Dark Matter, each with its own ending, its own separate ending. And they're just randomized. And the readers don't know what ending they get. And if they start talking to somebody else about the ending, they'll be like, wait, that's not how mine ended, just to get it out there. And then they have to hunt out all those other endings. And maybe there could be something in the ISBN or some way to indicate which version of the book. And that way you could collect them all. But the idea of these are all different parallel universe versions of Dark Matter. That would have been fun. But he obviously isn't like King, where a publisher could just do something like that and risk it. And then, after the book was published and out there for a while, they could have let the cat out of the bag if it wasn't discussed. Hey, there were 4 different endings. Go get them all, like Pokemon. The Sopranos was a slow degradation. The first 2 seasons were fantastic. 3 and 4 were good. 5 and 6 were mediocre at best. But I never had any issue with the finale. With The Sopranos, it was just basically saying that their life and lifestyle just goes on. Yeah. Yeah, I felt that way about Dexter. That last season was just awful, and the ending was terrible. And that was not an ambiguous ending, and it was awful. It would have been better if it was an ambiguous ending. And then, there is the idea that an ambiguous ending could be abused because they just want to get a sequel out of it. So, did Michael Myers die? Ooh, I don't know. And then it's okay. That's a bad type of ending, And then it goes on for so many movies in the series that they end up with Halloween Ends. Ugh. This is perfection, Mitch. And I'm saying that now because I know he ducked out and he's reading his book. Then he's going to go Betty by. Yeah, F Dexter. And now I didn't see we were watching. I was going to give a chance to the series, the renewed season, the 9th season. Producer Jill and I watched maybe 1 or 2 episodes, and then she was just too snarky to continue. If you watch a show that she doesn't like, nothing ambiguous about it. She'll just keep sniping. And if you have any modicum of enjoyment in the show, she squashes it. She curb stomps it like Ed Norton did in American History X. And then you're just like, well, I can't possibly enjoy it. Because then she gets you in a trick bag. Because then you can't watch it, right? You can't say, well, I'm going to go watch it without me. Well, you hate it. Yeah, she puts you in a trick bag. You know you do, Producer Jill. They had a second shot to make it right, so they didn't. Did you all see a new Francois Villancourt piece of art for the stand? No, but hopefully I'll be getting that. Feed keeps freezing for me now. Sherry's out again. Jason's out. I need to order more Raptures. Yes, you do. Everybody, order more Rapture. And Drink it in a Jeff Word pint glass. The perfect accompaniment. Great stuff, man. So, yes, anyway, uh unfortunately my feed is fine. That's awesome. That's great. That is great. So, the also Jaws and Handmaid's Tale are coming from Suntup, the numbered editions, very, very, very soon. And the release is this week. I think there are a number of you who will be very happy with the release this week. A number of you. I will be. And watch my interview. The man who fell to earth. Speaking of Francois Villancourt and The Stand, is anybody I've been craving some Sugarfoot recently. Definitely need. You've had some. Yeah, Sugarfoot is just the bomb diggity. Jeff Word Stout. You need to get one of those in there. Just try it. Third time tonight for me. Well, Sherry, I'm sorry. Number one, I am sorry. Customer service will take your complaint number. Please leave a Yelp review. By the way, the Schindler's AE is classy. Yeah, I didn't get that one, but I got the number. I'm very much looking forward to it. Very, very much. But hey, what's up, Scully? Scully's House of Thrillers, the best auditory experience. In fact, I would recommend you go watch Scully, any of his videos, after you hear me, and it'll be like a palate cleanse of the noise I throw in your ear on this feed. It causes damage, real damage to your physical and psychological health. And Scully will fix that right up for you. You get over there, you put in some earbuds and get ready for ska. Oh, did Peter Pan auditions recently? I auditioned and was cut. I got a very nice rejection letter. Very nice. Not a whole lot of swearing and name calling, but some, but not much. Not as much as I usually get my rejection letters. So he's awesome. Awesome. He will fix it. He will fix the damage I cause. Are you talking The Walking Dude? A little horror related, but highly recommended. The Last of Us. I want to see that. I wanted to play the video game. Whenever I drink Sugarfoot or Jeff Word Style, I always think I refer to the other one. They are both so, yeah, they are. We got rehearsal tomorrow night live. Oh, we got to be there, Jill. Yep. I'm losing internet intermittently. It's your mom's just complaining now. Just straight up complaining. She's like going to turn into Karen soon. Where's your manager? I'm having internet. I don't know. I think your daughter is turning the internet on and off on you. Maybe. I have a bottle of Sugarfoot Stout for tomorrow. Oh, compare. Tell us what you think. Producer Jill Scott. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Cemetery Dance, The Stand, the artist edition for The Stand, they bumped up from 750 to 1,250 limitation. What do you guys think about that? It went up another 500 books, 500 copies. I don't know if I'm awesome, but go to Scully for auditory repair for sure. He'll put you right. I'm writing you a prescription for some Scully. Seriously, check out the auditions tomorrow live. We have to cut some time out. Usually I see your live, Scully, randomly, and I could be in the middle of something, I can't get to it. So we could set aside the time tomorrow for sure. But I was wondering, I was a little annoyed with the Cemetery Dance upping the print run. Felt like a money grab. It sucks for the folks. They have it ordered to add to the limitations like that. Yeah. 8 p.m. Central. Nice. 8 p.m., Jill. 9 p.m. We'll be there. We'll turn it on. You know who it sucks? Well, there are people that are going to get the Stand that won't get any other matching numbers if that's the case. I don't know. It's just going to the secondary market values are going to be worthless. Not worthless. They're just not going to be as high as they could have been. So anybody who bought for an investment, which is not stupid, it's misguided. I don't do it. I don't think a lot of you people here do it. It should be a passion for the books, for the experience. But for the people who do, thinking it was a money bet, they're going to be disappointed with that secondary market value. I would be annoyed. I only ordered the gift edition, so it doesn't affect me personally, but I feel for the rest of you. I got the gift edition and an AE because, again, my favorite book of all time. And at the time, CD was in my top 5 publishers. And I had nothing but respect for them. And unfortunately, got the magic books. Unfortunately, they have just gone down. Hopefully the stand comes out soon. Now that people have ordered, they're going to be really upset if it's not out. So they got 500 more people maybe pissed off. Your top shelf, Scully. Speaking of top shelf, pour a little more of this, and then I'm probably going to get cutting. That's what number 1 says. I'm going to get cutting. Which I feel is always a threat, or that I should call the police when she leaves. Yeah, I got this woman. She just left my house. She said she's going to get cutting. If you got any missing persons in the next 48 hours, I would look at her. I also got the AE and the gift way back when through various CDCC offers and such. Yeah, when I bought the gift edition and the artist edition, they were discounted. There were CDCC coupons, and the price was cheaper. And I used gift certificates that I got through the CDCC. So that's the Cemetery Dance Collectors Club. So what I paid for the stand, both editions, is far cheaper than what others have currently to date. So it was like, at the time I bought it, it was $350 for the artist edition. Now it's $375. But I also got a discount on top of that. And then, like I said, I also had other coupons that I used. So we'll have a beautiful charcoal drawing of Captain Hook to give away. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm not a CDCC member anymore. No, I'm not, unfortunately. And that's a shame because that was fun, man. It was a great community they had. Now I feel like that CDCC has moved over to Brian James Freeman's Patreon. So he's keeping that fire going over there. So anybody who thought about being a CDCC, go support Brian James Freeman. He'll respect your money and your fandom and your attention and your time much more than CD. New update on Cemetery Dance production page. Not a new date, but see pictures. Oh, okay, cool. I'm just surprised about the price difference between the gift and the AE. Doesn't seem like you are getting much for an extra 100. You get a tray case. You get better binding. And yeah, you get signatures. Not Stephen King's signature, but you get. So let's see what John Fahey is talking about. Cemetery Dance on the production page. Not a new date, but some new pictures. Oh, okay. So, a general update. Busy start to the new year in Cemetery Dance Warehouse. It's only going to get busier in 2023 goes along. Stacks of grab bags, mystery boxes, and later slipcases headed out the door, as well as new titles from Gauntlet, Borderlands, and Thunderstorm. Next week, we'll start shipping the SST limited edition of Gwendy's Final Task, soon to be followed by Robert McCammon's latest Matthew Corbett novel and Bentley Little's store. Bentley Little's the store, both from Lividian. So I get to, since there's no date to this general update, I don't know when I'm going to get Bentley Little's the store, but it's after Final Task, King of Shadows, and then I'll get the store. So I got to wait for that. Our production staff just approved the first finished copies of Bentley Little's The Summoning and Paul Tremblay's Disappearance at Devil's Rock, a pair of brand new entries in Cemetery Dance Graveyard series. Shipping should begin sometimes later this month. We also recently approved the stamping dies and dust jacket proof for Rice's Interview with the Vampire. Oh, so Disappearance at Devil's Rock is going to be a graveyard edition. I have Head Full of Ghosts. I'm not going to get it, so I'm probably going to have to sell my Head Full of Ghosts. Oh man, they totally changed their. Wow. There is a whole new product update page. They've totally changed it. Wow. There's our slipcase manufacturer is busy working on custom slipcase for the Gwendy trilogy and Billy Summers. In addition, both of our tray case makers are overloaded, including tray cases for Scream Factory, Usher's Passing, which I'm waiting for, and a bunch of others. So, Wow. And so this has to be from Richard because he wrote, keep an eye out for future production updates on the Cemetery Dance website. I'm old and forgetful and tend to get things wrong from time to time. Mindy, Dan, Kevin, Billy, and Megan are much younger and smarter. All right. So that tells me that's from Richard Chismar. And I will say that is a good sign of life from them. He's starting to right the ship. He's starting to, I don't know, be more active, more upfront, which is great. That's good. I would be happy to see that. I would be happy to forgive and forget. As Cemetery Dance enters our 35th year of publishing, we remain extremely grateful for all of your support and enthusiasm. I've said it many times over the years, and I couldn't mean it any more than I do today. Cemetery Dance readers are the absolute best. Well, that's good. That is a little bit of fresh air. He wrote, hey, before I forget, as always, if you've pre-ordered a book from Cemetery Dance and grow tired of waiting, please feel free to email info@cemeterydance.com and request a refund. Mindy or Dan will take good care of you. That is restoring some faith. That is long overdue. That is awesome. I'm really glad to see that. No doubt about it. Amazing that update is there. I'm glad I looked, and very, very happy to think that would be a letter from our friend over there at Cemetery Dance. The best part is that the update is dated 12/22. I know. Right. Okay, what do we have here? Okay. What's the difference between the deluxe and artist? At one point, I realized the only CDCC benefit was using the discounted gift certificates, and I was buying other publishers' books with that, and that didn't sit right. Yeah. Devil's Rock is awesome. I have Devil's Rock here, the SST edition, but I'm not going to buy it, the Graveyard one. I'm not going to do it. So I'll probably have to sell my Head Full of Ghosts. Still waiting on the tray case for Usher's Passing. I know, me too. I got to read Devil's Rock. I do. Also really like Survivor Song. I like Survivor Song, but it is my least favorite of the Tremblay novels I've read. Wow. Why did you not like Cabin? I like the premise of Cabin better. Okay, the production page is promising some real info, some pics, good stuff. And just mostly, though, it's the letter from Richard. If it's from him saying, I don't get things right, we will refund you, we'll take good care of you, you are the best. All those notes are like what needed to happen a couple years ago. It's not, I mean, I wouldn't say it's too little too late, but it's long, 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 long overdue. But I'm glad it happened. I'm glad to see that. He should send out an email saying, from the desk of Richard Chismar, here's the year we're looking ahead to in 23. And most of all, leading it off, I, number one, am sorry that these delays, because they're unforgivable delays. 10 years, 10 years for Turn Down the Lights. That's unforgivable. Like, there's no reason that book had to take 10 years. No. I mean, it's still not out, so it's inexcusable. I never thought 2023 I would be waiting for a book I ordered in 2013. So it's good, and I am always rooting. I always root for that redemption story. I always believe in second chances, unless you've like murdered 80 people. Unless you're a murderer, then I'll forgive you when that person gets up and walks around the person you killed. And that to me, there are some people that can forgive. I just can't, and they're better people than I that can forgive. Like that one guy, Dylan Roof, who went in and shot all those people in that church, and the family members of the victims said they forgave Dylan Roof, and that I got choked up seeing that, because I'm like, you are better people than I am. I can't hold a candle to you to forgive this twisted freak. So, but yes, obviously Richard Chismar didn't kill anybody except maybe some characters and some respect. But yeah, this is great. That's great. That's a good note. It's just enough too late. Seriously, it's a good start. Yeah, it is. Can't wait to see the Cabin movie. I don't know if I want to see it. Jason Pargin put out a good TikTok short, which I didn't see it on TikTok. I saw it on YouTube short. And it was about how he's pissed off that nowhere in the marketing for the movie do they credit Paul Tremblay. Nowhere. Not at all. It's M. Night Shyamalan all the way. And that's scary. That's very telling, and it's awful. They changed the name of the book. They changed the name of the movie. It's different than the book, and they don't credit Paul Tremblay anywhere. So that's bullshit, Other than Gothic Cemetery Dance is sitting on none of my money. Yeah, they've got very little left for me too, but yeah, he saves his email for promos and Goodreads. Hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully, like, that's all I've been saying all this time. Talk to us. I have a handful of pre-orders I still hope to receive. You will, I think. No idea how true that is. Oh. Regarding Cabin Film, a friend of mine told me there was a controversy whether they didn't want to give Tremblay full credit. Like M. Night claimed he was only inspired by the book. Oh, damn. Oh, so that would just kill it. Like, you make a movie based on a book because it has a fan base that you can then have confidence in doing the movie, because there's so many people who like the book. Those people are pretty much, a good percentage of them are going to see the movie because they're fans of the book. So it's kind of not a sure thing, but it gets there. To crap on all those people, not a good move. 100% bailed on CD books. I just don't trust them. I don't give them future money except for Gothic, but we'll see. Shoot, how about all those parents had to face Brooks in court? Brooks? I don't know who that is. My oldest, 6 years. My oldest, in January 17, I ordered Collector's Series number 3. 3 different books and haven't gotten any of them. Yeah. Have to call tonight. Still no reception, just chat and remarks. Good night, all. Okay, well, good night. Hopefully it helps out later on. Stare it. How about that? Multiple posters, and they still haven't given Tremblay any credit. Yeah, it stinks. Yes, totally. I think my oldest CD order is now 2014, Turn Down the Lights, after Best of CD2 was released that year. After that, it's We're All in This Together. Wow, from 2015. Yeah. Guy that ran over. Oh, The Kids in the Parade. Yes. Oh, yeah, and he represented himself. Oh, that's a downer, man. Yeah, that's awful. Yeah, that he ran over the dancing grandmas and those kids. Oh, 6 people. Over 60 injured. Wow. Yeah, that's awful. All right. Well, I'm going to call it a night because if number one's not here, I can't be here. Yeah, they had to face him personally. Right. You had to question them. I don't know what kind of restraint that would take to not just charge off that witness stand or out of the gallery and or galley, whatever it's called. I think I'm the craziest person in the cemetery dance asylum. I hope they get it together. I do too. I do too. So, all right, Timothy, everybody, star rats. I know that's a palindrome. Where I worked, we had a competitor named Staymates. So you'd be star rates. So good night, everybody. I will see you all next week. I'll be back when the week is new, and I'll have more ideas for you, and you'll have things you want to talk about, and I will too. I know Jill didn't like that, but Jill doesn't like a lot of things, including season 9 of Dexter and me. But that's what it is. You guys can't fix it. We're getting near the end of the world, so it doesn't even matter. So take it easy, everyone. I will come out tomorrow night for Scully. It's always a blast. Enjoy your stouts. Get Rapture. Get some great Fracassi reads. Go read The Painted Bird if you want to read along with me this week. This is what I'll be reading. And then it's on to 11/22/63. So The Painted Bird. I have no idea what's in store, so I can't make you any promises, but I can make you a bunch of lies. That's what It's Terrific usually says. I miss him. Why wasn't he here tonight? And Hans, thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. Yeah, it's heavy duty. You guys are like my best friends. So glad to see you. And I'll be thrilled to see you all next week. So good night, everybody, and stay frosty.